So I'll take attendance. AC's not here, Carla's not here, Roy's not here. Roy had another meeting tonight. Bill Dooley's here, John Buckwalter couldn't make it. Les is here. Oh, I put Mary Sally on here. Sorry, I gotta change that to Chuck.
Yeah, my name is not Mary.
It could be. Could be Chuck, could be Mary Severs.
Yeah, that was my aunt.
Was it good? Nice woman, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Don Leupold is here. Rick Quattlebaum is not. Susan is not, Gary's not, Tom's not, and Mary and Robin are here. Barb Thompson's not here. I'm not sure why. Katie Bernard, Angie's here, Ralph, Paul. And I left Albert on there. I should have taken him off. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we need 7 for a quorum. But
I don't count.
since this meeting is really not an official board meeting, and I don't believe we've got anything to vote on tonight, which I'd rather not anyway. It doesn't matter, but at least we know who's here. Robin, do you have any idea on year-end financial?
Well, I can tell you what our balances are in our accounts right now.
That'd be good.
Yeah, we have 27,707.63 in our convention account. But like we said, we have this huge bill now from them.
And you know what she hadn't taken off of that bill either is the 10,000
The
we've already
10,000 I
paid.
put down. Yeah, I noticed.
And I
that.
emailed her back to remind her of that.
So really, we're negative there
No, we
if we go with their numbers.
Yeah, if we go with their numbers,
Yes.
we're going in the hole.
Yeah.
In the checking account right now, we have $4,114. The only problem is that the youth outreach is at 6,010 that needs to go to them. So we're 2,000 in the hole just to meet that.
By the way, I have spoken with Gloria Bidgood, and she said the check for the grant is going out this week for $4,000, and I sent her your address, so
Okay.
it should come straight to you, that check.
Okay, great. And then the money market account, since we moved 10,000 to checking to where we could pay bills, we have $8,262 still left in the money market account at Commerce. Fidelity right now is, I hate to even tell what it is because it's so low. It has dropped to 126,617.
Holy crap.
Yeah, we lost $22,000 so far. 25,000, sorry. $25,728 we've lost.
Oh my God. I hope we can make that up soon.
I do too. And then we've still got 1498 in the money market at Fidelity. But we still owe also, we still owe 4114, or no, wait, that's not right. 4160 we still owe on our credit card that we did not pay yet because we were so low in our funds. So we still have that plus the youth outreach.
Well, we'll get the 4,000 from the grant, and hopefully we'll get the other grant before the end of the year. And then we'll get our final membership dues before the end of the year. The downside is, if you're like me, and I know there's other people around this screen, have not submitted their final reimbursement expense check, that could be, hazardous.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go and submit one, but if it doesn't get paid till next year, I just hate to take money out of, pay bills from this year out of next year's money. So.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So anyway, well, thank you, Robin. Robin, will you send me an email with all those numbers and I'll just plug them into my agenda for the notes?
Yep, I'll do that.
Paul,
Yeah,
Roy figured you could give a budget update. I know we can't vote on the budget. I wouldn't even want to vote on the budget tonight.
Yeah.
But at least give the board an idea of what's going on with the budget.
happy to. Is that better on the voice? I turned it up to 100%.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
It is supposed to be reported. Our committee has met once and we're to meet again in the next few days after adjustments we had discussed. And I think Robin's already touched on some of those.
Right.
The problem we noted is the same as usual, not enough revenue to cover expenses. And I think Robin's already mentioned, we took 10,000 and moved it, and we've had to dig into the reserves. So then we had discussion about what to do about it, the dues, but then that's a bylaw amendment thing that we can't take care of in the short term. So we're trying to see how close we could come. We came close to running out of money in the general fund. So I believe that's where the 10,000 was moved to, right,
Yeah,
Robin, to
yeah.
cover.
Correct.
We had previously decided to use reserve funds, notes say, to cover the cost of membership contests, but it never actually transferred the money. So
right.
is that kind of what that
So
was,
that-
Robin?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now is just move. I'm gonna have to move because I'll probably have to move a little bit more out of there as well to be able
Yep.
to cover.
So we're waiting on KI grant money, and I heard Mary say something about 4,000.
Coming
Is
this
that what
week.
that was?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And then Roy made a point. Next year, I think their plan drops that. And Brad knows better than all of us, but I think it drops to 2,500 next year. So you can't really count on that. We're going to have to grow new clubs kind of the old fashioned way, roll up your sleeves instead of depending on some grant money and elsewhere help from KI to bring people in, because that's going to be tightened up next year. So we talked about some of that.
Brad, I have a question, Brad. Weren't we
Mhm.
supposed to get some money for each of the clubs that we opened? Weren't we supposed to get like some money to help offset some of those? Or did it just turn into a grant? Because it used to be, if we opened a club, we'd get like $500 or $600, I guess, based on how many members joined.
No, it was just up to $4,000 that a district could get.
Oh, that changed,
that.
I guess, when the grant, that all changed when they started doing the grants rather than just giving clubs money
Yeah.
to get started.
And then KI didn't charge. I don't think you paid travel for Larry Memmer to come in.
no.
You didn't
we-
pay for me.
No,
or
we didn't
Jay,
have to pay, and we
so-
didn't have to pay for Kendra. So that's a good thing. No,
We're-
I have no complaints. I just wanted to make sure I
Yeah.
understood that.
Yeah.
But I do know, Paul,
And the
that,
2,500 next year will be predicated. That's if you open clubs on your own without outsiders coming in. However, we do have more club opening specialists next year. So in addition to Jay and Regina, we'll have Kendra who's available to go around, as well as 2 others.
Plus we have use of your resources by phone or
Yeah.
email, those
We
kind of resources.
we can set up appointments and make
That helps a
calls,
lot.
that type of thing.
Paul, just so that you know, I sent an email out yesterday to all of the people that I had set up Zoom accounts for. Because of all of the Zoom accounts I set up, which was probably about, I don't know, 15 or 16 accounts, which added up to about $3,000, I think $3,000 or $4,000. Only 4 of them were being used. So I sent an email out saying, if I don't hear from you, I'm canceling these accounts. And most people have come back and said, cancel them. So that's going to be a savings for the budget for next year by not having to provide. There's a couple that still want them, but that's nothing compared to what we've been paying out.
Well, Roy mentioned something about that, Marion. He said something about he had a Zoom Pro. What's that?
Zoom Pro, there's different levels of Zoom. There's a free Zoom, that you can sign on for that anybody can get, but it's only 40 minutes worth of meeting time. So if you have an hour meeting, you're screwed because your meeting's over in 40 minutes and they cut you off. A Zoom Pro is the actual license that you've paid for that'll give you unlimited meeting time that you can use anytime. And so that's what we've gotten for all of these lieutenant governors, are Zoom accounts that we've had to pay $150 a year for. And it adds up when you get 15 of them, you know, you're talking $2,000 and $3,000 and $4,000. So there's a lot of people out there, and I'm trying to get this cleaned up for Angie, because trying to take care of all of this has been a labor of love. Well, I don't know about love, but anyway, it's been a labor. and I'm trying to get rid of those Zoom accounts to make it easier for her to take care of.
Okay.
But also to save the district money, because if they're not using it, why pay $150 for that? But people ask for them and then never used them.
Well, if I just signed up for Zoom Pro, I mean, it doesn't have to be through Quantus, then I would have it. Is it $150, whoever you are?
Yeah.
I'll
Yes,
just
whoever you
get that.
are.
Roy said it was so handy to set up your own meetings and be done with it.
It's very handy. And
Yep.
if I was in charge of something, I'd probably just go on and get it myself.
Yeah.
You can set up recurring meetings,
Oh, yeah,
calls
it's
with it
great.
and everything.
It's
One thing,
great.
I don't know, you guys haven't purchased an owl. Some districts have
No,
purchased
but
an owl,
we purchased an Anchor. I don't forget what it was
something that's
called.
close to it.
It's a microphone and a speaker in one, and it'll play. You can hook it up to, like I can hook it up to my computer, and it'll do Zoom through it. And it's much easier to hear people in a meeting and to speak into the microphone. It's a better microphone than you would have on a computer. So yeah, it's really good. It's not as cool as the owl, because the owl has a camera, where this
Mhm.
doesn't have a camera, but it does the speaker and the voice. So at least you
That's
can,
handy.
yeah, it's
Some
very
districts have
handy.
been
And I
purchasing
gave
that.
that, the owl's like $1,100. And
It's
this was like,
around 1,000, yeah.
yeah,
right.
this is like, you know, less than $200.
They've been using it, like Kansas uses it for lieutenant governor training. They also are doing fewer in-person board meetings. They're doing more through that. And so, and then they also have contracted with a hotel in Salina, Kansas, that will let them use their owl for free for conferences and things as part of the
They are so
package.
cool. The owl is so cool, because
It's directional.
if we're in a meeting and I start speaking, the owl's head will turn towards the person speaking, so
That's
that
the
you
name
can
of it,
see
yeah.
who's speaking on. Yeah, it just turns, and it's like,
Like an
it's
owl,
really
yeah.
cool. It's really cool.
Mhm.
Mm.
But no, I just wanted Paul, you to know that it's
Thank
going to probably be $500 or $600 budgeted rather than $3,000.
Okay.
And it is convenient, but if it's not getting used, it's not convenient.
Very well.
Is that all?
That's, he just said something about, we're still waiting on final dues. When's that?
We're
Some
hoping to get
week.
those sometime this week. Brad, do you
This
know when
week?
that check's going to go out for the final
What?
dues payment from KI?
Final dues.
Well, here's
No.
what they did. Here's what
No.
they did. They sent us, our last dues check that we got from them was April. And so they said they're going to send out a final dues check, because now that it's, you know, most of it, we get most of the dues in April or before April. So they cut that off so that we're going to get a final dues check for anybody that paid their dues, or clubs that paid their dues, or any new member fees. We're supposed to get that this week, but I want to think that they were going to cut that like on the 28th is what I was thinking,
Just tomorrow.
like tomorrow. That's what I was thinking, but
I've not heard that.
but it's
from
still
Bryce.
going to be difficult to get that before October 1st.
Yep.
That's a sad thing. Unless they did, unless they paid all their bills online like we do.
I still get a paper check for reimbursement that I have to take to the bank. So,
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, ours are electronic, and you can choose to have direct deposit. You can choose to print it out. You can make different choices. I print it out, and then I have mobile banking and then send it in. But at least it gives you some opportunities, and it gets the check to you right away. It doesn't. It's not like you have to wait, for the mail.
Yep.
we
You
used to
don't
have
have-
that, but they did away with it.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you, Paul, for updating us on the budget. I put on here secretary transfer. I figured Carla would want to know where we are. Angie and I met last week and talked about a lot of stuff, and I gave her things that I felt like she needed right now to get started. We've been working on transfer, and she knows that I'm going to be available should she ever need anything. Angie, what do you think?
I'm good. I know Mary's
She
available.
says that a lot.
She has a quick phone call. She's a quick trip to Costa Rica. I think I'm just going to need to go visit her for some more,
Yeah,
face-to-face training.
I think so.
But she
Isn't
gave
that
me
where
a
the-
bunch of stuff.
I thought the next board meeting was in Costa Rica.
And it can be.
Beautiful.
It can
I've already
be.
booked a flight to there.
Oh, there's Les. He's
We
ready
could
to
save
go.
on hotels and everybody just bunk with Mary.
Well, yeah, it could be, yeah, we could save some money, and yeah, it would be cool. But
Nope.
no,
I'm already
Angie,
getting some phone calls and I have some leadership guides to send out. And so, yeah.
we've put out on the internet, and I sent out this week, I sent a constant contact out to all the presidents and secretaries to give them the information on all the giving guidelines, which has Robin's address on that. I've sent out to everybody I thought of just to let them know that Angie's contact information and Robin's contact information. And probably in the next couple of days, I'm going to transfer the email address over to Angie. That way she can get all the Kiwanis Moark stuff, and I won't get them anymore, and that'll be okay with me. So I think we've done a pretty good job of getting everything transferred over. There's still some stuff at my house that I want to get to her, but it's not anything that she's going to need before, I get back.
Checkbook,
Well, I've given her,
bank statements.
she has deposit tickets, so she can deposit money. Robin has all of the information that, she has the bank account. We switched the bank account over. So everything's pretty well online. So we should be in good shape to get Angie up and running. And I'm sure she'll be doing a good job. I'm sure she's on it.
Yep.
Any questions? Any questions of Angela? Put her on the spot now. Membership boost. Ralph, are you there? Ralph, calling Ralph. Hello, Ralph. Well, I'll get this started until Ralph shows up. It looks like BB is on hold for now. I know that they're trying to work with, I guess it's Columbia County instead of Magnolia, that they're trying to help them get boosted. They really just chartered last year or the year before. So they're trying to get them, keep them going. And then Foreman wants some assistance, and that's Albert's Club. So it looks like those are the two clubs they're going to be working at boosting, but there's a lot of clubs out there that need help. So if you guys, need assistance with any one of your clubs, the key is to get a hold of Angie or anybody on the board or definitely to Roy or Ralph or Carla, and let them know that, we have clubs that need to be boosted. I know, Chuck, we have some in
Alright.
Division 7 that needs help. I'm sorry, Brad.
I was just gonna say, I just happened to have by me a printout of some back and forth that Ralph and I had about a month or so ago. So he said in this report, we have total of 347 members and 37 failing clubs that need assistance with membership. They all have the potential of closing. Some have closed in the past 3 months if we don't offer and follow through care and devotion. MOARC has 62 clubs at 18 members or below that need assistance before they get to 10 members. Our average of building 2 new clubs a year over the past 3 years. He's trying to save 37 clubs. So that's.
Yeah, there's a number of clubs. And I think the ones he's really focusing on are the ones that are under 15, under charter strength. And there's some in every division. I don't think there's a single division out there that doesn't have at least one club that's struggling. And I know, Chuck, we have a number of clubs that are struggling in Division 7. Becky, we just found out, well, we kind of knew Perryville was on its way out, so we just lost Perryville. So we still got a lot of clubs we're losing out there. And, we can build clubs, but I sure hate losing the clubs that we have, because we're losing good Kiwanians, because they're not necessarily joining other clubs. And so we need to get that rectified. And so I think as the trustees, my goal to you guys is to contact your lieutenant governors, help them where you can. And I know you are. Bill, I know you've been out there working with everybody in Region 1. And Don, I know you've been trying to get things going down in 14. Les, I know you've definitely got a finger on the pulse of all of your clubs. And Chuck, we just got to get Chuck and Mike in. Mike keeps coming and going. I'm not sure what's going on with Mike, but I know that we've just got a lot of work to do. And I know people are trying. We just got to try a little bit harder. So that's all I'm going to say about it. I texted him, told him he's in, but he didn't come in. So
We had, Mary, before you skip there, Les, I saw you on here. What do you hear about Neosho, Les? We talked to a guy, Victor Head.
Neosho.
And is Neosho picking up steam or?
Yeah, I met with Monette last week, and the biggest handicap right now is that Norma is having knee surgery today.
Oh,
But Ian from Neosho was there at the convention, and we got acquainted with him. And Frank and Victor from Monette, they're working on it with Norma slowing down a little bit, but still Victor is the main push anyway. So there's hope for it. That's about all I can really say. I've got to get back with him and try to.
How do you do that? Do you attack that regionally or something? I mean, like Perryville. That's the first I've heard of Perryville, but they're upside down, huh?
Oh, I'm sorry, Perryville. I'm sorry, I went to sleep on y'all.
Perryville's gone.
Perryville voted to dissolve, and what's really sad is that Perryville was not. They were still doing a lot of good stuff. I went down there back in April. I want to think it was April. We went down and they had a ribbon cutting for a playground. So I was as shocked as anybody when we heard that they were voted to go out.
Is Roger aware of Perryville, since he,
No,
originally was in Perryville? Just wonder.
Yes.
And I'm
If
going to Boot Hill Friday. I'll say something about Perryville. Those guys were just in Perryville. Some members of the Sykes Club were up there. I know. I'll ask.
Well, that'll be interesting to see what they say.
Okay.
But they were waiting to get from us our club how to dissolve a club, because we've been working on that. And so I finally sent them what we had. And that's when they came back and said, well, we want to go on and dissolve.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
People have different reasons, and I think that
know.
it gets to the point where even if you have 10 members, you just get to the point where you're like, I'm tired, because it's the same 10 members doing everything. So
But then
just sad.
just to start a new one with doing all these chin ups for these new clubs lately, I mean, it makes you really appreciate, wow, if there's any way we can spark them.
I
Because the
agree.
alternative is so heavy lifting, expensive. Brad and his team come in, others are doing Facebook and all these social things. It gets ridiculous, but if you got some nucleus on the ground that you can blow some embers and get it started again.
I agree. I think that, but what's so bad is that sometimes by the time we recognize that these clubs are struggling, they've already decided they're done, and they don't even want to help us with a boost. We're willing to all go help them boost, and they're like, I ain't helping. Well, we're not
The
going to
ones who-
boost for them unless they're going to help us.
The ones you really need to worry about are the ones that have been taking turns being president and secretary. And before the pandemic, things were okay. They were willing to do that. But with the pandemic, having to figure out Zoom and how to do things online and all that, I'm hearing a lot of them say it's just not worth the fight if we
Yeah.
can't get more people to take turns or help with these things. So
Mhm.
it's one of those things where we used to have the 80-20 rule. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, I think we're at 90-10.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. It's just really sad. So
Well, what we talked about also, and I failed to mention this, Robin, you should have thrown something at me. We talked about, who was it, Robin, at our meeting on the finance committee? Somebody came up with an idea in one of the divisions to sponsor their own interdivision
Boost.
interclub competition. And
Yeah.
and that person was going
Oh,
to
I
post
forgot
yeah, they're going to post $250 and get the other clubs to chip in up to 1,000. And then they were going to interclub race and then winner claim all or something. And I offered the same thing in Division 13, or at least I talked to some guys about it, and they said that'd be fun. I mean, if we could get interclubbing back again and rock a Perryville, if they had some place to meet and get somebody going, some of those things around could stir up the embers a little bit. And that we talked about, didn't we, Robin? And I don't know what to do with that, or if people are interested, or if that's not a good resource to waste. I don't know.
Well, part of the problem we had when we were discussing that, I'm on that group,
Sure.
was the actual financing of it. Where
Yeah.
do we get the finances out of? Which fund has enough money left to do something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bill,
because
you were there, and I
they
don't know.
wanted the district to pitch in $250 towards it, and then each one of the clubs in the division do that.
To get it
We
going
didn't-
again, because those interclubs have been shut down with this COVID stuff, and
well, and we
some
just
general-
finally got through the work of Les and Susan LaFawn. We just finally got the whole interclub program up and running for this next year, and hopefully we'll be able to really get it rolling. And I like the idea. I think it's great. The sad thing is what I noticed, it's just difficult to get, even a friendly competition going with some of these clubs. They're just not.
Hmm.
They don't care.
I've been reviewing a lot of the old kiwanograms for the history book, and it's interesting to see how many articles were put out about interclubbing. This club won. Raytown was a champion for years, and all of that, and how much excitement it was creating back then. And so hopefully we can get interclubbing going, but we've lost the, used to have that big plaque, but it's disappeared. But anyway, I think with good promotion, we could make a stab at it anyway.
I wonder if Gwen had that big plaque.
And bonds.
I don't know.
Yeah, Gwen Bonds, because she was in charge of Interclub for years.
Right. in
You
addition to the inter club, I think, stressing the 2 for 2 program. And also I just saw on the Kiwanis Dateline that came out this afternoon that Kiwanis One Day is scheduled for October 22nd. And that's a great opportunity
Yes,
to
it is.
have members invite guests to help them on a Saturday morning and then just call first thing Monday and just say, are you ready to sign in now? Or do you need to come to a friggin' meeting to seal the deal? Don't give them any wiggle
A
room.
friggin',
Just sign,
a
seal,
friggin'
deliver.
meeting,
A friggin' meeting.
friggin'.
That's right. Use it as a Kiwanis 1+1 day. So that's
like
October
that.
22nd. Yeah.
Right, yep.
So
Hi,
how was my meeting?
It's
Oh,
been
it was
pretty good. We've been
awesome.
talking about
great
everything.
meeting. Great
We
meeting.
talked about you.
Yeah, were your ears burning?
Obviously not, or I would have been on. And Mary, I thought that the first text I got from you was saying that you were there, that you were in Central America safe.
She is.
And I thought, well, gee, that's really nice.
No,
I'm-
I said, are you joining us?
Well, yes, after you did.
I said, where are you? And you
Where
said,
are
I'm
you?
home
And I said, I'm at home, but I'm
home.
on the
on
phone.
the phone.
Said, well, we're here.
We're here.
We figured you were recruiting new members. Opening new.
Okay, folks. Well, the real fact is that my granddaughter was having a total meltdown. I was on the phone with
Aw.
her and I 100% forgot about everybody else in the world.
Well, you
and
know
I'm
what?
really
I had a
sorry.
feeling since it was supposed to be last night, we moved it to tonight, and it's all good. You're where you should be. You needed to take care of your granddaughter.
You do.
Absolutely.
So tell us about last night. Did anything go on last night?
Well, last night we had a total of 6 people, of which Barbara Thompson, myself were 2. So no, it was not effective, but I did have dinner that I could share with 3 other families on the cul-de-sac when I got back because I had so much food there. Anyhow, where we are is we have probably 10 paid memberships of the 15. There's been a lot of discussion about the club and positive feedback about the club, but many of the groups that we're talking to that are like fire, EMS, police are all, this sounds really great and a corporate membership would be wonderful. And we need to get approval from our board, and our board meeting is 1 case tonight, 1 case 2 weeks from now, 1 case. So, it just, I would say we are not going to complete this club by Friday unless God sends some members to us, because it isn't happening imminently. Anyhow,
Did my friend Chrissy join?
yes, she was one of the, yay!
I'm so
She was
excited.
one. And she actually took 4 applications with her because she's going to talk to some other friends. So,
I'm so
and
excited.
tomorrow we had the opportunity to go to the local. Yes, I'm still with my granddaughter, the local group of business owners that were
Chamber?
having
Chamber?
of Commerce, thank you. Chamber of Commerce meeting is tomorrow and I'm going to be in Arkansas, so I couldn't be there, but Barbara is going to be there. So I've arranged that they will give her a few minutes. They have a speaker already set for tomorrow, but they said that they would give her 5 minutes or less to give the broad strokes. And they also have from 11:30 to 12 a social time before the meeting starts at 12. So Barbara's supposed to try to be there by 11:30 to shake some hands and let some people know, and then have 5 minutes to say what we're doing. We also have the opportunity to be in the Leader newspaper, and they're going to interview me on Friday when I get back at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we will get a spot in the Leader about coming to the area. So I think we're looking positive. It just isn't positive to occur and be done by the end of the month.
Well, that's
Carla,
wonderful.
I'm hearing that from several of the governors, particularly Taka. Since he's local, he's been up to my office a couple of times for some advice or whatever. And one of the problems that we're having is that, particularly even for when we have an org meeting, there are only maybe 5 or 6 people that are showing up, which is enough. I think you only have to have a third to go on
Still.
and do the bylaws and all, but most new members don't want to superimpose their thoughts. They want to have a larger group, and
Right.
it's hard to explain to them that they can pass the bylaws and then they can change it the next meeting. They can vote to change them if they don't like them. So one thought might be to also think about in the next week or so having a Zoom call meeting where any of your Facebook leads and anyone else could get on there just to talk a little bit more about the first service projects and things like that to get them sort of acclimated to service more than membership.
Well, and I think Gravoy Club is sponsoring, which is my home club, and myself and one other person, although I'm not looking real positive as a positive force for good tonight. But beyond that, I think that having people that have been longtime members and that are really going to show up, and this is in my backyard, basically,
Yeah,
closer than my home club is. So
invite them to
all
your
good.
club meeting.
Pardon?
You could even invite them to your sponsoring club meeting to see
Yeah.
how things work and all.
True.
So,
Well,
yeah.
the only thing we did that was received negatively was you have to give the club a placeholder name. And we gave it Greater High Ridge, thinking that would be where I live and a little bit beyond. Well, this is kind of an odd area, and rather than being a city that grows like this is the Highway 30 corridor. It's an area like this. It's long and very thin. And so people with all these little towns, this is kind of to the east end of the area. So when you're calling it High Ridge and you go to Cedar Hill and other areas, they're like, well, I don't know, I don't know that we'd want to join a High Ridge club. Well, no, that's not what it is. You get to name the club. It will be Northwest Jefferson County or Highway 30 corridor or whatever you decide you want it to be. So, but we've
Or
kind of
Joco.
had to kind of overcome the name that we put on there, because people do see it. Like if they use the app to pay, it's you have to choose High Ridge. Well, anyhow, it's kind of funny, something we didn't think about originally and we kind of grew into, because the school district that we want to serve runs in that Highway 30 corridor all along the way. And Barbara,
Some
I
have
was,
even named it after the school district. We've had some clubs that are named after the school district. So
well, the
Yeah,
school
was a-
district is Northwest. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the case in Mount Vernon. We were calling it Fortville McCordsville, and they ended up calling it Mount Vernon because that's the school corporation that they all share.
what's interesting is St. Louis County, we consider Jefferson County as south. And they go by Northwest. I get confused. I'm like, Northwest is like Bridgeton and Hazelwood, it's
Yeah.
not
So yeah,
Joco.
it would be Northwest Jeffco, I would think, but
Yeah.
but that's a small problem once we can overcome that we had to give it a name to start. And we had one gentleman who was very active he's the president of the chamber. He's like, so why do you think you want to come into our area and build this club, and then then we should handle it and you're going to walk off? And I'm like, whoa, no. I'm going to be a part of this club. I live here. This is, this is my club as well as yours. Anyhow, we ended up in a much better place at the end of the conversation, but he was kind of combative when we started. So it was kind of funny.
And you
Anyhow,
handled them.
we did 4, we'll have 5 before the end of October, and we'll work on that as quick as we can, but it's probably not happening by Friday.
Well, we went through most of the meeting and I will write up the notes and get those to you. And we are recording, so I can get you a copy of the recording. We can give you a quick synopsis, but since it's already 6:07, well, it's 6:05 here,
That's
7:05
right. You
there.
shouldn't be held over in class because the teacher was late.
I know, I know. But we want to make sure you're comfortable. This is your last meeting. This is your last official meeting as the queen.
And as
So,
my last official meeting, I want to tell everybody how much I appreciate them and everything that they are and have done.
We appreciate what you've done. 'cause
Yeah, you've been a
You
heck
were-
of a governor.
You were governor for a year and a half and or more, and appreciate that very much.
well, I
Mhm.
appreciate all of you guys, and I really have appreciated working with Carlin, with Barb, and all of you. I've had an interesting group of governors to work with, but definitely have done a lot in the last 5 years. Just keeps on going.
Well, and the COVID years were tough for everybody. I mean,
Oh
you
my.
just
Yeah.
can't, you can't do things when you can't do things. I mean,
That's
it's
so true.
crazy.
So
Mhm.
very true.
And I'm very happy to see things turning around. The one thing I guess I'd ask is, has anyone had any problems going back in the school with any strange responses to programs like Terrific Kids? Because I just got a
No.
letter back this afternoon where we are to start Terrific Kids. And they would like, let me read this to you because you wouldn't believe it if I didn't read it aloud. I've received feedback from some of the first grade teachers about Terrific Kids that I wanted to share with you. It's been requested that we do not acknowledge individual students during Terrific Kids monthly celebrations. We have multiple kids that are working hard, both academically and behaviorally. Acknowledging just one individual student in front of the class might make the other students in class feel that their hard work and effort isn't going recognized.
Mm.
I'm wondering if there's a way to
Okay.
celebrate the class as a whole instead of individuals. I just know that we have a number of kids that will be disappointed if they are not chosen, and the teachers are concerned about those students.
Boy.
Let's give them all participation ribbons.
You know,
Everybody
my
gets a
thought
ribbon.
is that is
That's
not
what I
what
think.
Terrific Kids is. And if that program doesn't work, then I guess we won't do the
They're
program.
missing the point. It's
Whole
to make
point,
those
yeah.
other kids want to do better. Oh, for God's
Yeah.
sake.
Barb, go ahead. You're on mute.
Some of our schools early on shared that concern and they went to multiple, we have several schools, not just ones that had that concern, that have multiple Terrific Kids every month. And their goal is to recognize everybody by the end of the year. And sometimes
Well, I
they
think
have
that's a
to,
great idea.
sometimes they have to be creative in what the criteria is. And had, so they will set like attending every day or not being late for a week or something like that. But we have several schools that do that.
We
I
have-
worked with the
I've
worst,
heard of that.
we worked
here in
with
the
the worst
country,
kids.
One at a time.
Yeah, I was gonna
Go
say,
ahead,
we
Jeff.
worked with the worst kids in the Badlands of North Philadelphia. And in our program, we would recognize a boy and a girl that exceeded in the program for that day. It didn't discourage the rest. It made the rest want to earn that reward.
That is the
And
point.
that's the whole point. When you reward everybody, nobody wants to exceed.
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
But I'm not sure that's true. Schools that did want to recognize every student by the end of the year had different criteria for different months.
But
So
by the end of the year,
Yeah.
not
Mhm.
every student
No.
every month.
no.
Right.
Exactly. Don wanted to say something.
Out here in the country, we have at Beaufort Elementary, they do it based on, you have to have perfect attendance for the previous month, and then they get a little goodie.
We did that with Cosley, and we had like 700 kids we were acknowledging because they had perfect attendance. It was ridiculous. But the reason that that vice principal wants to do Terrific Kids is exactly the reason that they have some kids with behavioral problems, and they want to try to give them the motivation to be better. And
Mhm.
she wants that program because of that. And what we've gone to this year is what they're going to do is they do something twice a month. Well, really weekly, but for different grades. And it's kind of like their coffee talk. You know, they do a little assembly in the morning for this group of kids, and they acknowledge a number of kids that have been a terrific kid. And so we get to be there to hand them out the stuff. And so now it's even a bigger deal because you got more kids in the room and they're really highlighting it. You can't water it down. You just can't.
Mhm.
It's just not going to be the same program.
It doesn't have a benefit for the kids, I don't feel, when you're just giving it. And I don't know how you can give an award to the entire classroom every month. I mean, what,
Mhm.
yeah.
I don't either.
Anyhow,
Yeah,
I'll
it
have
just
to think
doesn't
about how I'm
encourage the
gonna,
kids to excel.
But we haven't had any problems getting back into the schools, and I thought we would. And in Pattonville, we're back in the schools. In Francis Howell, we're back in the schools. Yeah, we're not having any problems getting back into the schools I think no one in the St. Louis area. And, you know, we had a big old issue with that during COVID. So I feel good about that. I feel good that our sponsored youth programs are probably going to be closer to normal than they have been in a long time.
yeah, that, I'm looking forward to that for everybody. Anyhow, I think we need to let you go because the old Carla used to get everybody out exactly on time, and now now I've ruined it.
Well, what I'll do for all of you guys is I do have some reports for the convention and write those up and send those out with the notes. And so just read the notes. That way we don't have to take the time. It's not anything we have to decide today. I'm still waiting for Barbara. I don't know if you want to get together at a different time so we can hammer out what we want the club closing policy to actually finally look like. But we've had some comments that what you've presented was a little long, and you know, and I think we can discuss that outside of this meeting.
Right.
We don't have to
Well,
take
yeah.
the time here.
I was going to go through and take out anything that Kiwanis International hadn't had in theirs,
Right.
in their policy.
Right. And we can talk about that later. But
Okay.
anyway, I thought it's been a good meeting and we've talked about a lot of stuff. You've got a great group of people here, and I know you guys will go on and do great things without me. And remember, I'm still around. I'll be here. And if anybody needs any information, just let me know. And like I said, I'll be changing over the email address to Angie. And Angie, this group is all yours now.
I hope she appreciates us.
We can't hear you.
It's scary, isn't it, Angie?
I was just saying, I might be having some nightmares. It's getting real.
It's getting real. It's getting real, honey.
That's okay. I'm excited. Like, you know, I didn't want to overstep or come on too eager or push Mary out the door. So I've just been
Push.
patiently
Push.
sitting back and
Push
waiting.
away, push away.
You
Oh,
can't
believe
push
me.
Mary out the door. She's already gone.
She's already gone. Like, she,
All the way
you
to
know,
Puerto Rico.
I wanted Mary to have the opportunity to enjoy these last few months, right? And
Yeah.
you know,
Thanks, Angie.
she's done so much for the district. So
Absolutely.
Well,
Thank you all. Thank you all very much.
All right.
Well, thank you,
Appreciate it.
Carlin. I'm
Thanks for
I'm
your
glad we got to
leadership.
have a party for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
just another thing you did that was wonderfully sweet. Thank you.
I try. Now you can
And-
forget all that.
and I
I'm not
got-
sweet anymore.
I saw as you were going out the door, you sent me something by mail that I received yesterday. So thank you.
As I was going out the door, I mailed a lot of stuff out. So good luck to you all.
Good deal.
Well, you guys
Thank
all have a
you.
good day.
Night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Stay safe. Thanks
Bye.
for your leadership.
Thanks for
Right.
coming,
Thanks.
Brad.
Yeah,
Bye,
sure.
guys. Y'all be
Bye.
good.